languages, right? We are using Hindi, we are using Odia, we are using the English, so many languages we are using. We are using Tamil, we are using Telugu, so many languages. Like that. For communicating to a computer system, if you want to communicate with a computer system, there are also so many languages. Like C is a language, C++ is a language, Java is a language, Python is a language. Okay, or there are so many languages. All that means to a single purpose, that is communication possible. Okay, which makes the communication possible. You can communicate with computer using Java, you can communicate with computer using C, you can communicate with computer using C++, you can communicate computer with Python, like that. Getting it? So many languages are there, which makes the role of the language is to make the communication between the user and the computer system. Okay, then like that. What we are saying that it is a programming language. Getting it? Which is the language between the computer system and the user is called the programming language. So what do we mean by program? First we should know what is a program. Then the programming language comes. So program is nothing but a set of instructions which are need to be accomplished to execute a particular task. Okay, a set of instructions. More than one instructions get combined to perform one particular task. Okay, suppose a simple example, if I say, take an example of one mathematics problem. Okay, suppose you have to display the addition of two numbers. So what you are doing, first let x equal to something, let y equal to something, and then z equal to x plus y, then display z as the result. Are you clear or not? To display addition of two numbers, we are performing this 4 sequence of steps. First we are saying let x equal to something. Second step, we are saying let y equal to something. Third step, we are saying z equal to x plus y. Fourth step, we are saying display the value of z as the sum. Okay, so these 4 instructions we are combining to perform one single task, that is called addition of two numbers. So to perform one single task, we are combining multiple instructions in a group. That group of instructions are called as the program. We can say that is nothing but the addition program or the sum program. Okay, so program is in the sense like this. Program is nothing but a combination of some instructions or set of instructions or a sequence of statements is called as the program. Getting it? So you can write down program. Program. Give a hyphen and write down. It is a set of instructions which are accomplished to obtain a particular task. So getting it? So this is called as the program. The set of instructions which are accomplished means get combined to perform a particular task is known as the program. Are you clear? So for writing these instructions, for writing this set of statements, we must need one language. That language is the programming language, using which language we write these instructions, using which language we write the sequence of these statements, so that when we combine these statements, that becomes one program. Okay, so there are different languages to write these instructions, like C, C++, Java. Which language we want to use, that we can use. Getting it? So again, whatever the program we have said, a set of instructions that can be of either written in any language. Okay, maybe C, maybe Java, maybe C++. But computer understands in the core internally only machine language, which is also called binary language. Getting it? So the machine language or binary language can only be understood by the computer internally, which is used in the form of ones and zeros. Okay. So whatever the program we have written, that is in different language. That is in C language, or that is in Java language, or like that. But what internally in the core the computer can understand is the machine language or the binary language. Sometimes it is also called low level language. Okay. So how these C language instructions are converted into machine level language instructions or binary language instructions, or how these Java language statements are converted to machine language or binary language instructions. So this can be done by a translator, which translates or which converts the C level language instructions into machine language or computer understandable language or the binary language. So that translator is nothing but a compiler. Getting it? So compiler is just like a translator. What it will do? It will convert a C level language instructions into machine level language. Okay, no doubt. For writing the program, we have so many languages. We have C language, we have Java language, we have Python language, we have C++ language. But internally the computer can understand only machine language or the binary language. So whatever may be the language you may use to write a program, but that language need to be again translated and converted into machine understandable language, which is called binary language. So who will convert that? There is a translator which is named as compiler. Getting it? So that is the work of compiler. Okay, so you can write down compiler. Okay, write down compiler. It acts as a translator. It acts as a translator which converts the instructions of a program into machine language. Getting it? That is the work of a compiler, which converts the program instructions into machine level language. Okay, so a compiler is nothing but just like a translator. Okay. Then whatever the program we are saying may be written in any language like C, Java or C++. That program can be of two types. Okay, as source code or object code. Is my screen visible to you? Is my slide visible? Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
Source code, object code. So source code, object code is nothing but the program. So source code means what? Whatever the program we write, that program is called source code, or the program written by the user, ourselves, programmer who write the program is called the source code. Okay. So as I told, once the program may be written in any language, that need to be converted into machine level language or computer understandable language by a translator called compiler. Okay, so after compiling, after translating, a system will generate a code. That code is called object code. Okay, that code is called object code, which is generated by the system itself when after compilation. Okay, or after translation. Whatever the program we write using C language, that program is called source code. Maybe any language, maybe C language, maybe Python language, maybe Java language. Using any language, whatever the program we write, that program or that code is called source code. Okay. Then as I told, that code need to be converted into machine language. So after conversion, after translation, system will generate a machine code. And that code is called object code. Getting it? So before compilation, the program which is written by the user is called source program or source code, and after compilation, whatever the program generated by the system, that is called object code. Getting it? So object code is generated by the system. Source code is generated by the user. Okay. So you can write down source code. It is a program code written by the user. It is a program code written by the user. Then object code. It is a program code generated by the system. It is a program code generated by the system after compilation. After compilation. So are you clear? So before compilation, that is called source code.
Source code.
After compilation, that is called object code. Okay. Now, the C, which was developed by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1983. Okay, you can note down. It was developed by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1983. So getting it? He developed the language.
Yes.
Dennis Ritchie in the year 1983. So this is about the introduction for C language. Okay. First of all, why it is so called programming language? Getting it? Because the language which makes the communication possible between the user and the computer system, that is called a programming language. Then, if programming language, then what is a program? Program is nothing but a set of instructions which are accomplished to obtain a particular task. That is called a program. Again, the program is of two types: source program, object code program. Okay. Source program which is written by the user, object program which is generated by the system after compilation. Then what is a compilation? Compilation is nothing but a translator work, or the compiler which will translate the program written by any programming language into machine understandable language. Okay. Then the C was developed by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1983. Okay. Then our next concept, features. Let us see what are the features of this C language. Why it is distincted from other languages. Okay. So first feature comes, it's a middle level language. Okay. Why it is so called middle level language? See, whatever the language we use for communication, for person to person communication, suppose you, me, both are communicating, that languages are called high level languages. Okay. Or the human understandable languages. Whatever the computer internally understands, the core language of computer is a low level language, or the machine level language, or binary language. As I have told before, just before this, machine understandable language. Are you clear? Or binary language. So whatever we understand is the high level language for our communication. Whatever computer understand in its internal core is the machine language, or low level language, or binary language. But C is also a language which falls in the middle level language category. Not the high level, not the low level, but both. Middle level in the sense it has the features of high level language as well as it has the features of low level language. That means it looks just like a simple English as we are using in our daily language. Print means to print, scan means to scan, like that we use in our program. When we use, then you will be able to know more. Okay, but still let us understand that it is a language which is having the features of both the high level and as well as the low level language. Okay, it can be understood by the human beings easily, and it can also understood by the computer system. So oftenly it is called as middle level language. Getting it? So right, first point, it is a middle level language. It is a middle level language comma as as it has the features of both high level and low level languages. Okay, as it is having the features of both high level and low level languages, most oftenly it is called as the middle level language. Then next comes structural programming. Structural programming in the sense the language which has its certain structure, the language which has its certain procedure, that is called structural programming language. Okay, structural programming in the sense, suppose every language, you may take an example of any language. Either you may take an example of English or Hindi or Oriya, any language you may take, has its own grammatical rules and regulations. Okay, if we are using that language, we have to follow its grammatical rules and regulations. If we are not following that grammar of that language, it is not as a valid language or valid statements, like that. C is also a language which is very strict about its grammatical rules and regulations. So for that it is so called as structural programming language. Getting it? The language which maintains a certain structure, the language which follows a certain procedure. Okay, if we are using any language, we have to maintain its structure. Okay, if we are using any language, we have to follow its procedures. So C is one among them. So C is also called structural programming language, the language which has a certain structure, the language which has a certain procedure, the language which has a certain grammatical rules and regulations. If we are using that language, we have to follow its grammatical rules. If we are not following its grammatical rules, it may raise errors. Okay, which are errors to execute a program. Getting it? So C is very strict about its grammatical rules and regulations. So for that it is so called as it is a structural programming language. Getting it? So you can note it is a structural programming language. It is a structural programming language which has certain grammatical rules and regulations. Clear? So this is why it is so called structural programming language. Then next comes modular programming. Modular programming in the sense, see, suppose whenever you have to do a big task, a large problem, instead of doing that large problem as a whole, it would be better to divide it into some small problems. And solving the small problems is easy. So after solving all the small problems, indirectly the entire large problem will be solved at a time. Getting it? So that concept is called modular programming. So that we adopt in C programming language. Getting it? So here what happens, whenever we need to accomplish a large task, it is better to divide it into some small tasks. And solving each small task is very easy. So if we solve all the small tasks, indirectly the big task will be resolved. Getting it? A real life example. Suppose if I say, suppose any function is going in your home, right? Suppose a marriage function or a birthday function, something is going in your home. Is there a single person doing all the things for that function? No. You are doing something, your father will do something, your mother will do something, your brother will do something. Likewise, each person of the home will doing some work, so that entire function will be accomplished easily, or not. Like that. In program also, whenever we have to do a large program, a large project, it would be better to divide it into some small programs, which are called modules. Each small program, each small task is called module. So if you resolve each small module, which is easy. So if you resolve all these modules, indirectly your large program will be resolved. Getting it? So that is the concept of modular program, which we use in C language. Clear? So, right. It is a modular programming approach. It is a modular programming approach comma, which means a large problem is divided into some small problems known as modules. Clear? So that is the modular programming, where a large problem is divided into some small problems. That small problems are called modules. Okay. So this modular programming concept we use in this C language. The next feature, it's case sensitive. Case sensitive in the sense, you might have an idea. Any idea what is case sensitive?
Yes, I means
Yes.
lowercase or the uppercase.
Yes, exactly. Wherever we have to use the lowercase, there we have to use lowercase. Wherever we have to use uppercase, there we have to use uppercase. That is called case sensitive. At the place of lower, if you use upper, or at the place of upper, if you use lower, it gives errors. Okay. So C is a case sensitive language. Means we have to maintain the case as it is. Okay. So however, in C, if we say from the beginning to the end of the C class, 99%, 99 is what? 99.9%. Every code is written in small letters only. We never use capital. Okay. Remember, we never use capital. Everything is written in small letter. Only at 0.1%. There is a chapter called at the last, which comes at the last. there is a chapter. That chapter is called what? File handling chapter. In that chapter, there is a small use of one capital letters in a concept, but excluding that, everything is written in small letters only. Okay, so we assume that 99% of C program code is in small letters only. We never use capital. Okay, and to display the output, to give some messages, we can give the capital letters if we want, but the code is in small letters only. Okay, so C is a case sensitive language, mostly written in small letters. Okay, so you can write down it is a case sensitive language. It is a case sensitive language. Done. The next feature is .c. .c is the extension name of a C program file. Okay. For any application, you may be using any application in the computer. Every application has its extension name. Through the extension name only, it can be identified by the computer that which type of application it is. Getting it? Suppose you are using MS Word. Suppose you are using Excel. Suppose you are using Notepad. Any application will have its own extension name. Through the extension name only, it can be identified as a particular type of application or a program. Getting it? Suppose I have opened a Word document. I have written something and I am saving the document. Okay. While saving, it will ask to give a name or not. While saving, I am giving a name of that Word document, suppose ABC. ABC is the name of my Word document. Done? Done. I opened one C program editor. I have written the code for one addition of numbers in C program. Whenever I save that, it will again ask to give the name of a program. Every program will have its name. Suppose I want to give the name of my program as ABC. I have given ABC. This is my program name, which perform the addition of numbers, and I save. So whenever I want to open the ABC program, how can computer know that ABC is a Word document or ABC is a C program?
Sir, if the extension name is
Yes.
.c, it's C, and if
Yes.
.doc.
Exactly. Getting it? That is the virtue of a extension. Okay. Suppose we don't give extension, computer cannot identify which program belongs to which application. Okay. So for that, every application will have its own extension names. Like that. Also, C language will have its extension as .c, small c, .c. Whenever a program name ended with .c, assume that is a C program file. Unless it has not been saved as .c extension, it is not recognized as the C program. It may be any other language or any other program. Getting it? So you can note down the extension name of a C program file is .c. The extension name of a C program file is .c. So clear? So this is about the features. Broadly 5 features we have. The middle level language, which has the features of high level and low level language. Structural programming, the language which is having its own grammatical rules and regulations. Modular programming, a large program will be divided into some small programs. Case sensitive, wherever we have to use small, we have to use small only. And it will have an extension name as .c to recognize as a C program file.